I put on my Gryffindor sweatshirt just for this video, but like you can barely see it. So Gryffindor, Gryffindor, yay! This week's theme is phases. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my phases of fandom over the course of the last 10 years or so. I am completely obsessed with narrative in any way, shape, or form, but especially in television. It kind of started in middle school. Towards the very end of middle school, I started watching CSI. It's like, I was like 13, and I'm just like watching CSI like it's the best thing in the world, because to me it kind of was. And from there, I got completely hooked on a lot of procedural drama TV. I also had a manga phase in middle school and high school that kind of carried over to some degree. I was really into Kodacha, and I'm not even sure if I pronounced that right. I really liked the series Mars and Confidential Confessions. Some of these are kind of old, so I don't know that you would actually recognize them now, but I loved them. In high school, I got really into the musical Rent, to the point where I still have most of the show memorized. I was also somehow weirdly invested in the Mary Tyler Moore Show and the Dick Van Dyke Show. I don't know why I started watching those, but I got really involved in both of those shows, and I started watching a lot of classic television because of that. Things like MASH. And I just watched them on like Hulu and other like online sources they were streaming, and I just figured, why not? I actually didn't really get into a Harry Potter phase until I was in college. At that point, it was the first. At that point, the first Deathly Hallows movie was coming out, and I realized that I hadn't finished reading the series, so I should probably do that before going to see the movie. So I read the Deathly Hallows book in like 3 days, and the second half of that was like all in one sitting, staying up until 3 a.m. I think it was like during midterms or finals or something too. It was just weird. This is also when I had a roommate who introduced me to Doctor Who. I watched the first 2 seasons of the 2005 revival series in 2 weeks. And then I was so angry at the end of season 2 that I refused to watch it for 3 more. Of course I gave in and I finished it, and I love it and still do. But it was a tough 2 or 3 weeks. I also got into Firefly to the point where I was running around my roommates screaming, "Space Western!" at like 1 in the morning. Lately, I've been trying to fill in what I call the gaps in my nerd cred. I've watched all of Xena Warrior Princess and The X-Files in the last 2 years. I'm not really actively watching any one show right now, and there's not really a specific reason I'm not. I just haven't been keeping up with anything in particular. So I guess that's to say that if you have a suggestion, I'm open to it. What do you guys think I should watch next?